Alright boys, so today I got a new hunter build for you. I recently got Caliban tan and I've been using it a lot, and first off, oh my god, this is exotic strong. This thing is so potent. I heard that there were some rumblings about it potentially being nerfed. I don't even know. I don't really pay attention to too much hunter stuff because I don't really play hunter that much, but I figured, you know what, let me just get the exotics I don't have. I got a pretty good roll of it and I made a build with it, and I just gotta show you guys. So let's go ahead and hop into this build. So you can use whatever super you want. I'm using Blade Barrage. You can also use whatever dodge you'd like, although I really recommend using Gambler's Dodge, because in the instance where you might not kill the enemy with your melee attack with your throwing knife, you can always dodge your enemy to refund it. So I like using Gamblers, but you can use the reload or the Acrobat's Dodge if you would like. But as for your melee, you must use the Proximity Explosive Knife, as this is the only melee option that synergizes with Caliban's hand. For my aspects, I'm using Knock 'em Down and On Your Mark. Knock 'em Down is the most important aspect for this build. It states that while radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refund your melee energy. And this is huge for this build because we want to spam the explosive knife as much as possible so we can take full advantage of Caliban's hand. And On Your Mark is very nice because it allows you to hold 3 more fragment slots. So with these two aspects together, I have a total of 5 fragment slots. And speaking of fragments, I am using Ember of Torches, Ember of Singeing, Ember of Ashes, Ember of Char, and Ember of Eruption. Ember of Torches will allow us to become radiant upon landing a powered melee attack, which is huge because as long as we get a kill with that throwing knife, we'll become radiant and it'll refund our melee energy. Since we're using Caliban's hand, it makes our explosive knife deal scorch damage. So this ties into Ember of Singeing because your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets. As well as all my other fragments, Ember of Ashes allows us to apply more stacks of scorch, Ember of Char makes our solar ignition spread scorch to enemies, and Ember of Eruption allows our ignitions to have an increased area of effect, which means a bigger radius of that scorch effect, so we can apply more scorch, eventually leads to more eruptions, and the chain just keeps going from there. Now your loadout doesn't really matter too much, as most of your kills are going to be coming from your throwing knife anyway, but I personally am using a weapon with Wellspring on the off shot that I mess up the gameplay loop with this build and I have no cooldowns available or anything, so I use my Wellspring weapon to get my abilities back up so I can get my build going again. My stats for this build are 100 mobility so I can have my dodge in the shortest cooldown, and I'm also using 100 discipline. Now I figured I would run 100 discipline because I can dodge to get my melee back, as well as getting melee kills, or sorry, knife kills while I'm radiant will refund my knife, so there's no real reason to run 100 strength. So I figured I would go 100 discipline, as well as pair it with some mods that are going to help refund my grenade energy upon landing damage and picking up elemental wells. And as I stated earlier in the video, I'm using the brand new hunter exotic this season, Caliban's hand. Now what this does is it grants us the armor perk called Roast 'em. It states that your proximity knife scorches targets it damages with its explosions, or ignites targets on final blows. After throwing a proximity knife, you gained increased melee regeneration until the knife explodes. That second half is definitely more for PvP, as you're more going to lay traps around the map in the PvP setting. But that first part, your proximity knife scorches targets and ignites on target final blows. And since we're going to keep refreshing our melee attack whenever we get melee kills while radiant, we can pretty much chain this infinitely as long as we keep chaining those final blows. And this is why I said that most of your ad clear is going to come from using Caliban's hand, because it's just such a good exotic for proccing ignitions, and with all the fragments and the mods I have on, those ignitions are going to be really big, so you don't really got to worry too much about cleaning up too many ads with your weapons, which is why I'm using a weapon with Wellspring anyway, because I don't really have to get as many kills with my weapon, if you get what I'm saying. This is a very ability focused build. Now moving on to my mods, I am using Melee Wellmaker, Seeking Wells, Well of Life, 2 stacks of Well of Ordnance, Impact Induction, Bomber, and Solar Fulmination. This mod combination is all about getting my grenade back as well as my survivability. Well of Life will proc that healing effect for 10 seconds. It's like a slow little tick up of health, but it's enough to where sometimes it can save you in some situations. I'm not using Classy Restoration in this build, so this is like my poor man's Classy Restoration, right? Those 2 stacks of Well of Ordnance is going to give me bonus grenade energy for every one of those solar elemental wells I do pick up. Causing damage with a melee attack will grant me grenade energy because of impact induction, and activating my dodge will proc Bomber, which will give me a grenade energy, and then lastly, Solar Fulmination will cause my solar ignitions to have an increased area of effect and do more damage. This is a very well-rounded build for my hunter. I would say that the only downside of it is I have 50 resilience with my stat distribution. So if you're somehow able to get that even higher, definitely get your resilience high while still having 100 mobility and 100 discipline. Or maybe if you want to go the recovery route, but I do have well of life, so I guess you can kind of play with it how you would like. But personally, if I can get my resilience higher while still maintaining 100 mobility and 100 discipline, would be perfect for this build. But try this build out, you will love it. It's tons of fun, and just causing those ignitions with Caliban's hand is very, very satisfying. Like, I was actually sleeping on this exotic. I didn't get it for a while. I know I'm late to the party with this build. I've seen some other ones already, but this exotic is actually crazy. I'm just happy that I finally got it. I'm gonna have to use my hunter a little bit more now. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Deuces.